The process of Take Flight was definitely a long journey. And it was like very explorative when it came to my creative essence. So as I was explaining to you before, I really got into music because it was like a hobby and it was therapy for me. So for me to like break outside the cycle of what I was used to took a little bit of support. It took a little bit of encouragement from other people. I didn't quite have the confidence to really try different stuff. You know, I grew up listening to what I was listening to. So I thought I had to be the way that I learned from everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, we don't realize how much the media can like mold us. And well, now we do, you know, and now we're starting to talk about it more with the internet and stuff. But it's important to really just bring awareness to that like everything in your life is a diet and an influence, but don't let it be your construct, you know? Use that to breed who you are and kind of blossom your own self. And I was, you know, I have to be like, you know, I love 90s. I love boom bap. I have to respect the boom bap. And, you know, people will look at me different. Like, people, what was I talking about? I wasn't even sharing my music. Like, what people was I scared of, you know? So that was a whole conversation I really needed to have with myself. And when we talked about Take Flight, I actually knew the name of the album right away because it was me setting myself free. It was me taking off in the beginning of my journey of just being a musician and a creator overall, you know, learning myself creatively to be like, I don't have to just be a rapper. Like, that's what I love and that's where my heart is. But who said I need to be in a mold of anything, you know? And for me, like, the ultimate utopia of creating is doing whatever feels good without judgment, without the fear of judgment, you know, because we let that fear hold us back so much sometimes, even if it's just us judging ourselves. So Take Flight was right away, the title hit me. And I spoke about it with my producer, and my producer was like, listen, you know, you're in here, you put the work in, you put the time in, you definitely got the ethic, you definitely got the, you know, you definitely got the rhymes down. We need to work on your song composition. So that's kind of where we started at. And with that, we agreed to build a sound. He was like, I want you to start to think about like what kind of sound you want to gear towards. And I was like, duh, boom bap, hello. And he was like, no. We want to make something, you know, we want to cultivate something different. So that was, you know, that took a couple of years for me to even get to a point, because, you know, you start experimenting. And what I did to help me with the process, just a little secret I'll let you guys in on, was I took the music that I liked and that I listened to, and I would bring that into my influence, which we already do like subconsciously. But like, you know, I brought it into the studio sessions like, yo, this song is dope. Like, I love the drums in this. I love the hi-hats in this, you know, like, I like this. And we would start a beat based off that. And then we would just go from there. So everything was built authentically. Everything was built off of the emotion that I was feeling and going through at the time. And we really took our time with it. And it was like the first time that I was like, okay, let me put like the money aside, you know, because I always went in like studio ready to like spit my raps. Everything was pre-written. I would bang out at least a song, at least one, if not three in one session. And I was like, word, I'm getting my money's worth all the time, you know, and I was thinking about it in dollars. And this was a point in my life where the investment really started to hit me. And I realized like investing isn't always about money. It's about your energy. It's about your consciousness. It's about your time. And if you can put the fact of the dollars aside and realize like we invest in our own selves, like with everything we do, then things start to come together. You may not know the direction that you're moving in. You may not know exactly what you want out of things, but that's how you learn and you grow. And I started to, you know, it felt really weird. It was awkward at first. You know, we did things 2 and 3 times. I was like, you know, I'll go back and change verses and stuff. But I started to get a groove. And, you know, we hit some high points and we hit some low points. And it was the beginning of a journey for me to just unfold myself and see that there's things that are like, it goes deeper than music for me, you know? Like, I love creating, I love figuring stuff out. You know, I learned a little bit about, I'm not going to say I can sit down and engineer a project, but I learned more how to navigate myself in a studio session, which is super important. I didn't realize how important that is, to be able to go in, to know what you want, to know how to direct your dialogue with the producer so that they know what you're saying and what you want out of things, you know, to create a relationship with somebody, to be able to say no. You know, because sometimes like I walked in the studio scared to be like, I don't like that, you know, and then bring it home. And then I wind up paying for a whole session. And I'm like, damn, bro, I could have saved all this time and saved this money. So it wasn't only like building the album that I learned. It was like learning the whole process, learning the business end of it, learning what I want out of the album, then creating the album and having my son, Lauren, at the same time. I learned all about the marketing aspect of things. And how like, oh shit, I just spent 3 years building this album, Take Flight, that's my baby, and birthed it. And people aren't really able to hear it because I didn't put a marketing and promotion plan into play with it. So it was really like God just giving me the chance to like slow it down. It was like my quarantine. Like, slow it down. You're going to take your time and we're going to break all of this down for you. And you're going to be in the moment and really create the process for yourself and go through it. And maybe have to do it 2 and 3 times over again. So, and then that's why I came to a point where I have no issue taking the album down and putting it back up for the public to really see and give Take Flight the shine that it deserves. We worked so hard on that. And like, I still wake up sometimes, I'm like, I could have did this better, I could have did that better. And I feel like I can make an album 10 times better than Take Flight now. But it's still my baby, you know? It's a piece of me letting myself go and also internally getting to know myself even more as a creator. Come find me. Find me on the gram at Prema777. Listen to my music. Love it. Like it, dislike it, whatever you feel suitable, but you know, hear me out. I do a lot of things. I also have a podcast called Sex with Self. I just started that during quarantine as well. So if you want to get into getting to know me, you can check that out. But yeah, just come find me. I'm an interesting person. I'm fun. And I love to help people and I need my voice to be heard.